The OneFootball app has a brand new look, but all the same old features that are useful for an FPL manager. Get customized push notifications to receive team news, goal alerts and more. Download it for free via the link in the description. "73 points in Gameweek 11 gave a small green arrow in the end, but it has to go down as a missed opportunity to climb even higher. Walker-Peters won a penalty to earn the only significant points at the back, after Southampton and Leicester each conceded just a single goal. The Foxes restricted Sheffield Utd to just that one shot on target, which came from a corner, while Brighton scored from the penalty spot against the Saints. The plan had been to somehow bring in Kevin De Bruyne for the captaincy option, but as the week went on, it became harder and harder to justify selling Heung-min Son to accommodate him. So a last-minute change of plans saw Riyad Mahrez come in as a one-week punt, and it was Grealish who was sacrificed rather than any of the three big hitters, Son, Fernandes or Salah. The Algerian had been rested in midweek, and Guardiola had all but confirmed his starting place for the meeting with Fulham, so there was much less risk there than there'd normally be with Mahrez. But we all know how it ended, just a clean sheet and a bonus point. On another day, he could have had 3 or 4 assists. No player during the game week created as many as his 3 big chances, or racked up a higher expected assists figure. Meanwhile, De Bruyne and Sterling stole the show with double-figure returns in a 2-0 win. The only consolation is that the 3 big hitters in midfield all delivered. In fact, every attacker in the team other than Mahrez came away with a return. Calvert-Lewin converted one of his 3 big chances against Burnley, and Bamford finally translated his high quantity of chances into some points. Vardy left it late against Sheffield United after striking the woodwork in the first half, but his last-minute goal earned his side the win. So let's move on to the transfer plans ahead of Gameweek 12. When making that late transfer to bring in Mahrez, it was with the intention of moving him straight on to Diogo Jota the following game week. That would then have freed up the funds to sell Son to De Bruyne ahead of Gameweek 13, when Liverpool play Spurs and Man City host West Brom. But after seeing Spurs come through another meeting with a rival in a Big Six side, while Jota dropped out of the starting 11 to face Wolves, a rethink may be needed. So instead, the new plan will be to have the courage to move the other big hitters around going forwards, owning 2 from Fernandes, Salah and De Bruyne in the upcoming weeks depending on where captaincy is needed. For example, that would mean selling Salah to De Bruyne in Gameweek 13, when Man City play West Brom. Then the Egyptian would come back in for Gameweek 15, when Liverpool play West Brom, replacing Bruno Fernandes. Trying to anticipate when a possible rest might come will also be key, as will pouncing on a big hitter after he's just been rested. That new plan means there's no need to free up funds by gambling on Jota, and instead it will most likely be a case of simply reversing last week's transfer, and going straight back to Jack Grealish. It's always good to have a talisman like him over the busy Christmas period, who's far less likely to be rotated. Here's how the team is set to line up for Gameweek 12. McCarthy and Walker-Peters face a struggling Sheffield United side that are yet to pick up a win this season. The Blades have scored just 2 goals in the last 4 game weeks, with only Arsenal faring worse. Justin has been a bit of a disappointment of late, with only 1 clean sheet in the last 4 game weeks, but he's been very active in the final third. Cresswell, Chilwell and Cancelo are the only defenders to have completed more than his 54 final third passes in that time. Amongst Leicester teammates, his 9 touches in the opposition's box can only be bettered by Maddison with 14 and Vardy with 19. There's a bit of a dilemma between Ayling and Target for the remaining spot. Both have a reasonably good fixture against West Ham and Wolves respectively. Leeds are always a tricky team to call. They've conceded the joint highest number of big chances in the last 4 game weeks, but only Spurs have kept more than their 2 clean sheets. So that could be a decision that goes down to the wire. Salah has bagged returns in each of his last 4 league appearances, averaging 9.3 points per game. The same can be said for Bruno Fernandes, who's earned 11 points per game in his last 4 outings. We saw just how influential he was when he came on as a half-time sub against West Ham, and produced 8 attempted assists in 45 minutes. Heung-min Son has taken just 6 shots in the last 4 game weeks, and there are 26 FPL midfielders who can better that tally. But for him and for Spurs, it's been all about their counter-attacking system, breaking quickly and being clinical when those chances come, and you'd have to say it's working. They're up against a Crystal Palace side that have failed to keep a clean sheet in any of their last 10 league matches. It'll be an unchanged front 3, as Calvert-Lewin begins a run of trickier fixtures, starting with Chelsea's visit to Goodison Park. They've conceded just 2 big chances in the last 4 game weeks, and no side have allowed fewer, so it won't be easy for the informed forward. Bamford and Vardy have more favourable home ties against West Ham and Brighton respectively. As we saw last game week, the big hitters are there for a reason when it comes to captaincy, and so it's likely to fall down to either Heung-min Son or Mohamed Salah this weekend. Although Liverpool have a midweek Champions League clash, they're already guaranteed to top their group, so you'd expect the Egyptian to be given the night off. Fulham have shipped 7 goals in the last 4 game weeks, with only Sheffield United shipping more, so it will almost certainly be Salah who takes the armband.